Well, I think Yoon's accusations are against his domestic political enemies. And in the opposition party or the parties that are opposed to Yoon in the legislature, in the National Assembly. So there are many people in different political camps that have different views regarding inter-Korean relations or how to manage the threat from North Korea. But I think it's a stretch to claim that members of the National Assembly are, North Korean agents or pro-North Korea or something like that. I think that's quite an exaggeration.
Mhm.
So I think he used this as a kind of cover or justification for this declaration. But if that were really the case, then the defense minister, in cooperation with Yoon, and the defense minister, ordering and naming a martial law commander, four-star general, the Army Chief of Staff, I would think Minister of National Defense, according to his oath and constitutional oath, would request or require the evidence before participating in this action. So, at least publicly today, there's no evidence of any, North Korean mobilization or some kind of conspiracy or something internally in South Korea. So there's no evidence of that. And I think that's one reason why there's such opposition to it, because it can be interpreted as an extreme abuse of power. According to the South Korean constitution, they have a unicameral legislature called the National Assembly. There are 300 seats, 300 members. And Yoon's party, the PPP, has 108 or 109 members.
Mm.
And then the main opposition party, the Democratic Party, has 170 members. And then there are some small other opposition parties. To get all together, there are 6 of them, and they have about 191 or 92 votes or members.
Mm.
So under the rules of the Constitution, to pass a motion for impeachment requires 1/3 of the National Assembly vote. So that requires 100 votes. And last night, or in the middle of the night, just a little over 2 hours after Yoon's declaration, 190 National Assembly members were able to rush to the National Assembly as the military troops, the special forces, were arriving to try to block them. And they held a vote because under the Constitution, any declaration of martial law or national emergency must be reported to the National Assembly, be informed about the situation, and they can nullify or reject the emergency order, which they did last night very quickly, very rapidly. They needed 151 votes. They got a unanimous vote of 190 to 0, including some of Yoon's party members, voted against this. And the party leader for Yoon's party declared this, null and void, and is not supporting it. So his political support seems to be eroding. And then within 16 hours, they voted for the motion for impeachment. So now, under the rules of the Constitution, it must be voted on within 72 hours. So within the next 72 hours, they're talking about Friday or Saturday, they will vote on the impeachment, and that requires 2/3 vote. So that requires 200 votes. So they will need about, 8 or 9 votes from Yoon's party, which I think they will get. I'm pretty confident in that. And then he will be impeached. Yoon, if he's impeached, will have to step down from office and the prime minister would become acting president. So, and then it's up to the Constitutional Court to adjudicate the case, whether he's guilty of the offenses that are listed in the impeachment. And with a conviction, then he would be removed from office, permanently, expelled from his office, and then he would be. South Korea would have to hold an election, a presidential election, within 60 days from that date, from the impeachment, conviction, and removal. Yeah, twice it happened before. So No Myung was impeached about 20 years ago. And the Constitutional Court ruled in his favor. So he was suspended from office, and there was an acting president for about 2 months, and then he returned to office.
Okay.
And then Park Geun-hye was impeached, and she was convicted and removed. And so that's why we had, election shortly after that. And Moon Jae-in was elected president, whose term expired. South Koreans, I think, are intolerant of this kind of action. Democratization has really been institutionalized, and so to somehow believe that this would gain political support or traction, I think is just a huge miscalculation. It's huge, misunderstanding and miscalculation of the political sentiments. So Yoon is not a career politician. He was a prosecutor. He was a lawyer, an excellent and well-renowned lawyer and prosecutor, but he had never run for political office before he ran for the presidency, which was a strength or a strong point at that time, because, being an outsider and not a career politician was appealing to the voters. But in this case, he did not have the political, acumen or, understanding of the political situation, because, to take this step and actually believe that it would be sustainable politically is absolutely incredible. Yes, there are scandals about her, taking bribes, receiving some handbags, some expensive designer handbags. I think there are some other scandals about some, kind of stock market, bribery and so forth. There were other scandals about other officials being investigated, or rumors about scandals. So this has been kind of, churning under the surface of the domestic political agenda. This has kind of obstructed Yoon's agenda and his ability to govern. So the legislative process in the National Assembly has been, come to a halt and has been undermined as a result of these, scandals. Not extremely large scandals, but these kind of small, continuous rumors about these scandals of his life have taken a toll. And I think maybe he decided or concluded this would be a way to eliminate the political obstructions, these investigations, and but I think it's backfiring, or will backfire on him.